Good day, students. Welcome to our ML054 or your Biostatistics and Epidemiology lecture. For today's session, which is your session 7, we will discuss the measures of your mortality and fertility. So, for your learning outcomes, at the end of the lesson, you students must be able to number 1, identify and calculate the different measures of mortality used in assessing the health of the population. Number 2, identify and calculate the different measures of fertility used in population control. And lastly, identify other commonly used traits as indices of health status of a community. So these are some of the common health indicators that are being used in the epidemiology. Number 1, we have fertility indicators. It includes crude birth rate and general fertility rate, sorry. Number 2, morbidity indicators, which includes incidence and prevalence. So these two will be further discussed in our session 8. Next, number 3, mortality indicators. It includes crude death rate, specific mortality rate, cause of death rate, infant mortality rate, neonatal mortality rate, post-neonatal mortality rate, maternal mortality ratio, proportional mortality ratio, and case fatality rate. So if you can notice, yung mga indicators po natin in the epidemiology, mostly yung mga naka-include dito is yung mga minimeasure natin yung mga neonates natin and mga maternal moms natin. So hindi ba kayo nagtataka kung bakit sila yung most commonly used as an indicator if the country or a community is progressive or not, or meron bang mga nai-encounter na problems within the community or the country? Yes, tama po yung sagot. Because these two subgroup or group of individuals, they belong to the vulnerable group. Okay, yung mga neonates natin and yung mga maternal mothers natin. So, if sabi doon sa aming lecture is if naaalagaan po natin yung mga persons or yung mga number of people or yung mga individuals natin that belong to the vulnerable group, it means na maganda siyang indicator if yung inyong community or inyong country ay progressive or merong mga nai-encounter na problems. Okay? Again, these two groups or itong mga number of individuals na to that belong to the neonatal group and belong to the maternal mothers, they belong to the vulnerable group. Okay? So, for our indicators in epidemiology, hindi naman po dapat natin silang kabisaduhin yung kanilang formula for us to be able to solve or to know the answer for your problem solving. The key for this problem solving is to know yung concept noong inyong term. Let's say si crude birth rate. Okay? So, mahirap kasi kung kakabisaduhin mo yung kanyang formula. Maganda doon, mas maintindihan mo siya by heart. And then, pagka naintindihan mo ibig sabihin niya, mas ma-absorb mo yung meaning and then mas ma-apply mo siya for the problem solving. Okay? So, for the crude birth rate, we will solve your crude birth rate kapag meron kang number of registered live births in a year divided by the mid-year population times 1,000. Because it measures the number of children born per 1,000 population in a given place during a particular time. It answers the question, how fast are being born into the population per, unit of time. So again, hindi naman po natin kailangan kabasaduhin yung formula. Pag naiintindihan mo yung ibig sabihin ni crude birth rate, mas maaalala mo as mas mare-retain sa'yo yung formula of the crude birth rate. So it answers the questions, how fast are being born into the population per unit of time. So again, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung rate, okay, ibig sabihin nun, meron po tayong specified time frame. Next, for the general fertility rate, the formula is the number of registered live births. Again, number of registered live births lang. So, nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga biases or common mistakes in calculating this general fertility rate, also the crude birth rate, lalo na kapag yung mga live births natin ay hindi po registered. Let's say, pinanganak sila sa mga baryo, hindi sila na-register sa hospital or hindi na-register ng mga midwife. Ayan, so meron tayong mga discrepancies in counting the number of the live births, lalo na pag hindi po sila registered. So divided by the mid-year population of women between 15 to 44 years old times 1,000. So bakit 15 to 44 years old? Because it measures the number of children born per 1,000 women in the reproductive age group. So sabi nga po kasi yung reproductive age group natin is between 15 to 44 or 15 to 49 years old in a given place during a particular time. So these are the mortality indicators and these are their denominators. Pag crude death rate, okay, ang denominator niyan yung total population. Pag specific death rate, okay, specific death rate lang po. So most likely, ang magiging denominator niya for the fraction is the population size in a specific group of interest. So pagka naman pinag-uusapan natin yung mga mortality ratio of the maternal, perinatal, infant, and under 5 mortality ratio, dapat po alam nyo at nakikita nyo, nasisipat nyo dun sa inyong table yung number of live births. Okay? Pagka naman po proportional mortality ratio, ang kanyang denominator is the total number of deaths, and pagka naman case fatality rate is the total number of cases of the disease being considered. So for your proportionate mortality ratio, the formula is the number of deaths of a specific cause or group divided by the total deaths in a year times yung factor. So again, yung factor po natin, hindi lang po siya laging 100, hindi lang din po 1,000, hindi lang 1 million. So depending on the magnitude of the population. Pagka naman ang pinag-uusapan natin is 1 million population, okay, so the factor most likely nasa mga 1,000 yan or 1 million. So ang mga na-encounter po namin na problem sa bioepi for the past couple of years is yung factor na gagamitin. Laging nagtatanong yung student. So for our case, ibibigay ko na lang po yung factor kung saan nyo siya i-multiply para hindi na kayo malito. Okay, ibibigay ko yung population size, bibigay ko na rin yung factor. Okay po ba? So that rule applies to your case fatality rate as well. So kung hindi naman po ibigay sa inyo yung factor, sa susunod na ma-encounter nyo to, lagi lang kayo magbe-base sa population size. Okay? Kung 100, 1,000, or 1 million. It measures how much afflicted die from the disease. High CFR indicates the disease is fatal. Time element not annual but usual duration of the particular disease. It is affected by the nature of the disease, diagnostic ascertainment, and level of reporting in the population. So the formula for your CFR or your case fatality rate is CFR is equals to the number of deaths from a specific cause divided by the number of cases of the same disease times the factor. Pakitandaan po yung kanilang mga formula, lalo na kapag naintindihan nyo yung concept per term. Okay, so ito naman si case fatality rate, madali naman siyang tandaan. Case fatality rate. So ibig sabihin, ilan yung namatay noong nagkaroon sila nung sakit na yon, nung na-acquire na yon. So ipapasok na sa isip mo, yung numerator mo, yung mga namatay doon sa sakit. Denominator mo, sino yung mga nagkasakit, number of cases of the same disease. So yung factor, bibigay na lang po ni ma'am. Gets po? Ayan. So for your maternal mortality ratio, it measures the occurrence of maternal deaths. It reflects the level of obstetric risk in a population affected by maternal health practices, diagnostic ascertainment, and completeness of the birth registration. So sabi ko nga po sa inyo, malaking factor yung pagtaas and pagbaba ng number of cases ng mga maternal mortality natin depending pagka na i-register po sila na maayos. So kung hindi sila counted, hindi sila registered, hindi sila counted, mas magiging false positive or false decrease yung ating number of maternal mortality. So the ideal denominator should be number of pregnancies nga naman dapat. However, the formula is all maternal deaths occurring in a calendar year divided by the number of live births in the same year times 1,000. So for your infant mortality ratio, it is a sensitive and useful indicator of a country's level of health and development. IMR can be artificially lowered by just improving the birth registration. So the deaths under 1 year of age in a calendar year divided by the number of live births in the same year times 1,000. So ganun din po yung formula natin for neonatal mortality ratio and post-neonatal mortality ratio. Again, so intindihin lang po kung ano yung concept that will be applied for the numerator. And then times the factor times the factor. So that concludes our discussion for today. If you have questions and clarifications, do not hesitate to contact me. So kapag ka po naka-encounter kayo ng mga problem solving on your module, ayan, so balikan nyo lang yung mga formula nyo and then i-double check, parallel check nyo lang doon sa inyong mga tables. So apply nyo lang yung inyong mga formula and then try to solve it using your calculator.